This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Damn, Perk did this?
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's your guy, Kings and Dreams. Thank you all for watching me tonight. If you guys didn't get a chance, check out an interview that I actually did earlier this morning with a nice, beautiful Filipino lady. And we were talking about dating in the Philippines and things like that. But tonight, got a special guest. I actually was on his channel last week, so I did simul stream it on my channel as well. And I believe we're going to be doing the same thing tonight. And we're going to be talking about the differences between traveling solo and also traveling with your friends, family, things like that. You know, what are the benefits? Maybe some potential watch outs, things like that, man. But I'm really excited to bring this guest on, and I'm really excited to have this conversation. So, without further ado, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, I was on your channel, and so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm leaving in a few days, so let me spin the block before I head out of here, man.
Right. Where you headed? Where you headed?
Oh, so I'm going to Colombia next week, and there's two festivals. One festival is in Medellin. It's called Festival de las Flores, so the Festival of Flowers, and then you have Petronio Alvarez, which is in Cali, Colombia, and that is the Afro Latino Festival. So two festivals in Colombia back to back. So like Festival de las Flores is the week before Petronio Alvarez, that's in Cali. So I'll be in Medellin for the Flower Festival, and then I will be in Cali for Petronio Alvarez.
Okay, gotcha. It sounds like a good time. For how long? How long you gonna be going for?
I'll be going for 15 or 16 days. Yes, 15 days.
Nice.
15 days. Yeah, I just did the math. Yeah,
2-week
15
trip.
days.
Yeah,
15 days. Yeah, because as soon as I get back, the first game of the season is actually for 3 days away. So once I get back, I'm locked in until fall season is over. Then after fall football season, we have maybe like a 3.5, 4 week break. Then we get into indoor football. So yeah, man, I'm always busy. So like for me, I always got to pick my pockets of when I'm going to be traveling, right? So I always always around August. That's when I leave right before the season, and then February is my birthday, so I take that time to travel as well. And then I find little pockets in between, you know what I mean, to do my thing, you know.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I do the same.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So let's get into it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said let's get into it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So before we get into it, just kind of give people a little bit like the 30-second elevator speech of who you are and things like that.
Okay, yeah, my name is Malik Foster Travels. Malik Foster is my name. Malik Foster Travels is my YouTube. I'm a Black American based out of Georgia, outside Atlanta metro area. I've traveled to 17 countries. I started my first international trip in 2010. It was to Ghana, Accra, Ghana, 2010. That was an amazing trip. That's something that inspired me to travel. I have a passion for travel, so that's why I decided to document some of my travels. I also talk about tips and tricks and also just reviews of different stuff to just provide some insight to brothers, because I noticed there's a lot of different things in the travel space, but information is very important, and I feel like a lot of people aren't provided certain information that may not just be like traveling to different countries, but actually how to travel, how to get there, or something that can save money in your pocket. So that's where I kind of wanted to come in and help, as well as document what I'm doing. Document each area of travel, each aspect. So
Man, that's great. That's great. And so you mentioned travel hacks, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I definitely think that having some travel hacks, right, with your experience in traveling, I think that that's really important, especially for people who are watching vicariously through other travel channels, right? Because most people, and as you know, and I know we discussed this last week, but we'll rehash it. But most people, especially men who look like you and myself, they either have a passport and don't really travel, or they just don't travel. So they only are living vicariously through us. So being able to provide that information when it comes to travel hacks and how to get to places and things like that, I think that that's really really insightful.
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that people don't know. Like they just have a lot of questions that a seasoned traveler may like just say, "Hey, why are they asking that?" But it's just out of ignorance, like just not knowing.
Right.
They're asking like, "Where's a safe place to stay? Is this country safe?" Because the United States Department, the State Department, they'll put out a lot of things about certain countries that may or may not be true. And to
Right.
their credit, they'll say that they have the most accurate and updated information when it comes to, like, let's say Mexico, but the other countries aren't as accurate, right? So
Right.
Mexico is the most accurate information that you're going to get, as close to as accurate as possible. But other countries, it may be safe, it may not be safe, because some countries, it depends on the level of danger. They're updated every 6 months to 12 months. So if you're like a level 3, updated every 6 months, at level 2, every 12 months or something like that. So it's not always current. It's sometimes behind 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I think that that's an excellent point, right? And I also would say when it comes to that, when and for those who don't know what he's talking about, if you Google, it's called the travel advisory. That's what he's
Yep.
referring to. Actually, I can pull it up as we're speaking.
Oh,
What?
okay, yeah.
Oh, you have it?
Oh, no, I was gonna pull it up, but if you can real quick, that's cool. Yeah, the travel advisory, it's just a guideline. Obviously, like some countries could get a level 2 or an increased safety risk due to maybe some political standpoint. Like for example, let's say Ghana, right? That is typically a level 1, like safe country, like exercise normal precautions. Um, but if they take a political stance, like they say, if they're against homosexual relationships or gay marriages, they might up the level because they feel like, okay, it's against the law, so homosexuals may be jailed or imprisoned unjustly in the eyes of the United States government. So they will increase the risk based off of that. Oh
Right.
yeah, I see you have it up here, I think.
Right. Yeah. So this is so all you have to do is go into Google and you travel. I'm sorry, you travel. You type in travel advisory and you go to date updated. All right, so it says July. The latest was July 28th, right? So you see American, Thailand, Cambodia, right? And if you're looking here in the middle column, this is what the levels what he was referring to. So highlight here like level 2. I'll actually do this.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so
you can filter it.
yeah, I just filtered it out. Yeah, so these are all level 1s. So level 1 is what you would call the least amount of risk, and then level 2 all the way through level 4. So level 4, they're pretty much saying don't go there. But what Malik is also saying is that could, things may have gotten a bit dicey, if you will, in that country for a certain amount of time, but things might have calmed down, and that country may stay at level 4 for about 6 months when it could have gone down to a level 2. That's just hypothetically speaking, as far as when it comes to level 4 to level 2. But more or less, it's just about you just want to, you can't always trust this travel advisory.
Correct. Yeah, like I've been to some countries where it's a level 3, but the certain cities or certain areas are more of a level 1 or level 2. So it depends on the maybe city or county or region, whatever you want to call it. Basically, our equivalent of a state or a county within a state, our equivalent of that here in the United States. So certain parts are dangerous, just like a certain part of your city. Like certain part of your city is dangerous, but the other part is safe. So you can think of it like that. But if a country says level 4, you definitely probably want to stay away, because that means there's something serious going on, even though it may be safe in some areas, but it might be to the level where they are discriminating against American citizens, and it is a big risk. Or that the United States might not even have an embassy in some of those level 4 countries. So you just want to be very careful. Like there might be a war going on, or it might just be a political stance. Like Burkina Faso could be just a political situation, even though it's not really, it hasn't been anything reported recently of like anything going against Americans. So like if something bad happens to Americans in these countries, like such as like any deaths, robberies, or anything criminal besides maybe some petty crime, they're going to be automatically bumped up to like level 3, level 4, especially if it's like a death involved or something like that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So I want to circle back here, and I want to talk about when you first started to travel, right? And so your first international trip, you said you went to Ghana. Now, did you go alone, or did you happen to go with friends?
Okay, so yeah, when I went to Ghana, the first time I went with my family. I went with a group.
Okay.
It was a travel study abroad youth group. So I was helping teach some kids and stuff like that. I was a young college student at the time, and I was helping teach some kids. We erected a well. We did some of the tourist things as well, trying to immerse in the culture, trying to share American culture and American things as well. It was like a cultural exchange.
Okay. Got it.
And I went with a group. I was without a phone at the time. They wanted us to have an authentic phoneless experience, which was kind of rough, but it was also very enjoyable because I got to soak in the experience more, and I was less on my phone. So I think I definitely enjoyed the experience. I was able to take in more being phoneless than with my phone. But I guess some of the struggles dealing with a group travel like that is it's a big group, so we had to coordinate our schedules. So coordinating the schedules, being on other people's time, like some of the logistics of stuff, like doing different activities. Some people can do it, some people can't. And it was a mixture of men and women. So essentially, when we were going to rural areas where there may not be adequate plumbing and toilet areas for the ladies, we had to make certain bush stops, so it had to take a little longer, stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad, but it was certain situations where obviously it wasn't convenient for both genders and both everybody.
Right. Okay, understood. So you went to is it called Akura or Acura?
Accra. That's how you pronounce it. Well, that's how they pronounce it. Yeah.
Okay, so Accra. Sorry about that. Okay, so when you went to Accra, so tell me about your individual experience.
Oh yes. As far as the weather was very hot when I first went. I've been there more than once, but the first time I went, it was very hot. It was very humid. It was like Florida times 1.5 in terms of the humidity. It was almost about double the Florida's humidity in the summer.
Yeah.
That was the kind of weather at the time. I went around like March, April of that year. So our spring season here in the United States. So I went around that time, and I'm trying to remember what season is for them. I think it was more of their hot season. They don't really have too much. Yeah. So also, it was very peaceful with the people. So the people were very friendly. They were very nice. I felt safe. So safety was very big. The food refreshing because it was fresh. It was my first time, so it was like, wow, like this food is like kind of, I eat one meal a day, I'm good. It was kind of sticking to me. I wasn't feeling very hungry after one meal. So typically, breakfast or even just dinner was enough. So sometimes I would skip breakfast when I was out there. The women, the first time I didn't really get to interact too much because I was doing a bunch of different stuff in rural villages, and I didn't spend that much time in Accra, like maybe a day or two. I was near Cape Coast, Elmina. I was in Kumasi, so I was in different areas as well. So I wasn't just exclusively in Accra. So I didn't have that much interaction with women until the next trip, to be a better judgment on that. But the women are nice. They're more timid, I would say, but yet they can be firm too. Like they're very mellow. They have a mellow personality overall. Um, they tend to be on the thicker side, a lot of them. They're not too skinny or petite like that. They're not very tall women, but they're cool. They're very chill and mellow. Um, they're not too outgoing, but they're not too reserved either. I think it's somewhere slightly in the middle, moderately conservative in terms of like the personality of just hanging out, not in terms of their beliefs and stuff
Okay.
like that. It's a Christian, mainly Christian. They're big on church out there in terms of the religious beliefs. And the city now is being very built up. I see a lot of construction going on. I see a lot of pricing going up. The CD, their currency was stronger back then than it is now, but it's actually gaining a lot of strength nowadays due to some investments and economic reasons. But we'll see if that holds up. But at first it was kind of weak, but then it's become a lot stronger recently. Transportation. So Uber is pretty cheap. It's very easy to use, no issues. I use my card. They accept my card most places, so I don't have to always pay with cash. Um, what else? They got a lot of different nature things to do and a lot of history there, especially tied to African Americans. So I think that would be special for people to participate in as well.
Okay.
So I think that kind of gives a synopsis of Ghana and Accra, my experience. Unless you have any more detailed questions.
No, in reference to that, no, I don't. But what I do want to stick with is the continent of Africa. So, yeah. So, how many countries in Africa have you been to?
Okay, I've been to. Shoot, I gotta list them. Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. At 5. I want to say 5. Yeah, I've been to 5.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, sticking with the continent of Africa, what was the next place in Africa that you went to?
The second one was Kenya.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And was that Nairobi?
Yeah, that was where I landed first. I've been to Nairobi and Mombasa, and I guess Nyali, but that's like the Mombasa area, Mombasa County.
Okay. All right. And so tell me about your experience.
Oh, Kenya was awesome, man. The women are very fun, friendly, very accommodating. The weather was good. It wasn't too hot, not too cold. It's a well balanced. Like you don't even need the air conditioning out there. The food is good. Between them and Ghana, maybe Kenya food a little bit better. But it's about the same to me in terms of the traditional food. That's the way I kind of judge the countries, like based off their traditional foods as opposed to American foods or
Right.
the Western style restaurants. So the food is about the same to compare the two countries. What else? Transportation, about the same. Ubers are really fast there. They're faster than Ghana, but Ghana's not that slow. But they're really fast, efficient. I haven't really had a problem with my card too much, except on some days, like a Sunday, one of those weird days. I want to say, I think it was a Sunday where I had to use cash instead of a card one time. Something was going on at the time when I first went to Kenya. There's a lot of development going on. I see a lot of improvement. Their infrastructure is pretty solid. I would say it's a little better than Ghana's. Like if we're going 1 through 5, I would give maybe Nairobi like a 4. Like maybe like a 4 in terms of infrastructure, and then Accra would be like a 3 or 3.5 in
Okay.
terms of infrastructure. So it's a step above Accra in that regards. And I think I hit on pretty much a lot of the areas. The women, if we're comparing the women, in terms of the looks, I guess it depends on what you like. If you like the West African look, you'll side that way. If you like more East African, you like that way. I would say in terms of the thick, like maybe the body shape, in terms of more like a slim build, you would probably find that more common in Kenya than in Ghana, Accra. I think you'll be able to find a little thicker there, but they both have thick. So if that's your preference.
Okay. All right. Understood. And then and did you go solo there or did you go with your friends?
Okay, so this is a good question. So I went both. So I went with friends and solo. So the first time I went with friends, and then the next time I went solo. So it was an interesting experience. Like when I went with friends, going as a group. So the positives of going with the group was that we could share expenses, right? But the negatives is also the experiences of terms of like waiting for others. Like if somebody is more punctual than the other, or if somebody is busy doing their own thing, but you got to wait for them for this group thing. It can kind of slow you down. But as long as you kind of have like a flexible itinerary, which I kind of did, because it was kind of my idea. I was like, I see a cheap ticket to Kenya. Hey, you guys want to go? I put some of my friends on. They were like, oh, it's always been my dream to go to Africa. One of my friends' dad, it was always their dream to go to Africa. So he was able to go. Then his brother came along, so it ended up being a bigger group than I thought. I thought it was just gonna be me and him. So
Yeah.
So that's how that turned out. But yeah, the solo experience, I was able to move differently. I was able to kind of just do more stuff and go more places. That's kind of when I started doing combo countries. I went from Kenya to Uganda, and then the first time I went from Kenya to Tanzania. So it was very interesting. I liked the fact that we were able to effectively kind of split things and share those expenses, and also watch each other's backs. And like when company comes over or different people we may not know very well, but trying to get to know, there's a increased safety factor. Of course, like if you feel like you're in a suspect area, which we were that one time, where one of our Airbnb hosts took us to the store to get some stuff. It was around the corner. We were like, this is a little fishy, but it was safe. But it just looked a little like a hood or something like that in the U.S. So it looked a little run down, but it was pretty safe. It was pretty cool. But looks can be deceiving sometimes in Africa.
Yeah, I would say really any place outside of the United States for real, because in the United States, like we know if a place is sketchy, it's sketchy.
Right, right. If it looks sketchy, it most likely is 9 out of 10. But other
Right.
places, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, because I've been to some places where it looks a little run down, right? And it's safe. I
mhm,
mean, I could tell you like there's certain places in Colombia too. Certain places in Colombia. I don't know if you've been to Cuba or not, but even in Cuba, like Habana, there's some places that look a little bit run down, well, a
mhm,
lot run down, right? And then it's completely safe. But like if you're in like you know south side of Chicago or something, you know,
right,
okay, this is a problem.
right. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and and I was gonna say, like traveling as a group, I think it really gives you confidence if it's your first time in a new place.
mhm.
I think that's one of the benefits of it, but one of the cons is you gotta wait until everybody gets their stuff together. And if you're the organizer of things like I was, or I
Mhm.
guess the initiator, I should say, I didn't really organize. It's like, hey, you want to come? Okay, cool. And then what do you want to do there? I didn't really organize. I just was the initiator. People are gonna look towards you on like being the point person and like kind of organize it by default since you brought it up. So that's one of the negatives. If you just wanted to say, hey, let's go and let's figure it out together, it's like, no, it's like, yeah, we're coming and we paid, but you got to figure out itinerary for us and you got to make this fun, even though you've never been to the country yourself. It's your
Right.
first time too, but
Yeah.
that's the way people look at.
No, well, I mean, the thing is, like you said, when you come up with the idea, you end up becoming the de facto organizer, right? You are the one who's looked upon to put an itinerary together, even though you haven't been there yourself. But I would say that's one of the, that's one of like the potential watch outs, like when you're traveling within a group, right? Because when you're traveling within a group and you're the one who comes up with the idea, like you said, hey, let's go to Nairobi, right? You guys go to Nairobi, and now you, Malik, they're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do today? And you're probably in your mind like, well, shit. Sorry, but I know your people are watching, but you like, hey,
You're
I
good.
don't
You're
know
good.
what. Oh, you like, man, listen, I don't know. I just got here, but you have to figure something out. That's the one thing I will say. You have to figure something out. Like, even though we're supposed to be traveling as a group and figuring it out together, but the fact that you came up with the idea, they're gonna be like, "Hey, bro, what's going on here?"
Right.
So I know this from traveling within a group, right? And tell people, okay, all right, I'm going here. Oh yeah, I'll go there. What days you going? Yeah, I'll be there. Blah blah blah. Whatever the case is,
Mhm.
and they sync up with you. They're expecting you to plan the activities and things like that. So my next question to you is okay. So you talked about Kenya, Nairobi. Oh yeah. So tell me about Mombasa.
Okay, okay. Mombasa was great. Mombasa is much more hot and humid compared to
Yeah.
Nairobi. Um, it's near the beach area. It's cool. It's more laid back. Um, it's I guess it's less job opportunities. It's a little cheaper. Um, the women are um well, the ones I encountered, they kind of have a certain build, like more of a slim, thick build. I saw that pretty
Okay.
common out there, in the Mombasa area, as well. And the food was solid. I enjoyed the food. I wasn't there too long, only a couple days. We took
Okay.
a plane ride to from Nairobi to Mombasa, but we took the train on the way back, just for the experience. But I wasn't there too long, but just for the few days I was there, that's the feeling. I went to some place called Tapas, and I had the best like burger. I had like I had a what was it, like a buffalo burger, something like that. It was a very interesting burger that I had. It was very delicious, probably the best burger I had in my life. So shout out to Tapas if anybody's out there in Mombasa, get that burger. Um, yeah, it's I think it's in that Niali area. So Tapas is the name of the place. But yeah, I love Mombasa. I recommend people spend a few days there. I don't know if you want to spend too many weeks there. It's a nice like getaway. I think like maybe it's like a good 3 to 5 days type of trip. I would say
Okay.
if you're in Kenya for a long time, because you basically want to stay in Nairobi for the most part. But it's a good 3 to 5 day trip. I would say.
Okay. All right. So Mombasa is more beach area and Nairobi's more inland, correct?
Yeah, correct. It's more inland, like bigger city, like big city vibes, like maybe you would be accustomed to in the US, like you know, I guess New York or Chicago, LA, Atlanta, Miami, like bigger city.
Gotcha. Understood. Understood. Okay. All right. And then the next so now we're on the third country.
Yeah, so the third country I went to after that, oh, Tanzania. Tanzania. So Tanzania, I went to Dar es Salaam and I went to Zanzibar. So those are two spots I went to there. So I went to Dar es Salaam first. So the weather is similar to Mombasa, hot, humid. The transportation is relatively cheap. So the issue with Tanzania that Americans may have is a language barrier. Um, Even though the country says official language is English, people don't all speak it. So especially the drivers, like they know hi, good morning, how are you, and that's it. And the people are kind of more on the timid side and more like shy.
Mhm.
Um, they're not too aggressive for the most part. I'm not saying you won't meet any aggressive, outspoken Tanzanians, but the ones that I encountered while we're there and the people I dealt with more on the shy and timid side. The women, I would say, are beautiful. They're probably to me. I think most brothers would say, their faces, their facial structure is more of a preference than Kenya and Ghana. If we were going to make that comparison, I mean, I know everybody has their preferences, but from just talking to brothers and just hearing what they like in particular, especially if you like, um, I guess the Latin American look, those kind of girls, you would probably be okay with the Tanzanian look for the most part. And their bodies shapes very thick. hmm They're very very blessed and thick there. Y'all guys could just check out some of their cultural dancing to find that out if you don't believe me. What else? The food. They probably have the best food I've tasted out of the countries I've been to.
Mhm.
It was very delicious. Had the best chicken I've had like ever, probably there. Very very good. So um, the nightlife is pretty good.
Hold off on that. Hold off on the
Okay,
night.
okay.
But continue.
You want me to hold off on the nightlife, or you want me?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the nightlife, but I'm saying
Oh,
continue going on about Tanzania.
oh, okay, 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 okay. All right. I'll go. I'll go into the nightlife when you're ready to ask me about that. But let me see. It's a few things to do there. I went to museum. Obviously there's the nightlife you could do. To me, Dar es Salaam is a place where you just want to maybe have some fun, be around, I guess, as a solo man, have some fun, be around some women. Maybe if you're into nature and stuff, they got the safari parks not too far, Serengeti. Well, actually, it's kind of far. It's like some hours away, but it's in
Mhm.
Tanzania. What else? You can hop over to Zanzibar. So let's talk about that. Zanzibar is more of maybe a paradise for maybe couples, or if you maybe have that extra money to spend. But luckily I was in a group, so we were able to share the cost, so it helps. but I would say it's more so for a couples getaway. That's kind of what it's geared to. But it's a lot to do there. It's probably more to do in Zanzibar than Dar in terms of activities. Like you got a lot of water activities. You can see the different islands, learn about the history of that. Go to Stone Town, see the market. Go to different. You go to the restaurant in the ocean, kind of. You go there. Different things with the turtles. You can see the tortoises. You can do water activities. You can obviously go to the beach. So, yeah, I think it's more to do than in Dar, like a little bit. To me, like as a tourist, it's more to do. But I was only there for short times at both places, not too long, like a week. But within that week, I saw like, yeah, Zanzibar probably has a little bit more to do, even though Zanzibar is more expensive too as well. So keep that.
Ah, okay. All right, gotcha. All right, so now
Oh,
we're
one
on.
more thing about
Oh,
Zanzibar:
my bad.
no Ubers, only taxis. So
Okay, so there's no Ubers in Tanzania.
no, they have Ubers. It's just how I put it. Zanzibar is kind of like it was like separate from Tanzania, and then
Okay.
until they merged, so they still kind of act like they're their own country. Like they got their own like leader. Think of it like maybe if the U.S. only had two states, like the East Coast, West Coast, and then the West Coast has their leader, East Coast has their leader, but there's like one president over both. It's kind of like that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. All right, and yeah, so you did mention before we move on to number 4. I have seen some Tanzanian women, and yeah, I mean I think what you're saying, like the facial structure, like is more, I guess, more Eurocentric. I guess, is that what you're trying to say? Maybe, I'm not sure, but I will say that the facial structure from Tanzania, and then there's another one, Ethiopia, and I would say I think Rwanda too. Like those are the 3 that I've seen. I would say okay.
Yeah, I would add in Eritrean women too, because they're similar to Ethiopian in terms of how they look. But
Okay.
like the travel advisory will probably say, "Oh yeah, don't go to that country," even though you see a bunch of YouTubers go there and say it's fine. So
Right. Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to number 4.
okay, four would be Uganda.
Mm.
So Uganda is Uganda is very interesting. So first, what's interesting is the airport is not even in the capital city, because usually when you're trying to go to these countries, you're like, okay, let me hit the capital first or the main city first, kind of get a feel for it, or you expect to land in the main city first, and then go wherever you're trying to go or wherever your itinerary takes you. So it's called Entebbe. That's where the airport is. It's outside of Kampala, which is the major city there. And Entebbe is like on the big lake Victoria out there. Like if you're on the map, you can't miss it. It's a very huge lake. It's huge. And it's a nice place. The weather is pretty solid. I like the weather. It wasn't too hot, not too cold. I kind of got away with wearing a hoodie out there. So that was interesting. I like how Kampala is kind of weaved in with nature and the buildings. The infrastructure, I would give it. I would say it's below Accra. So Kampala is like if I say Accra is like 3.5, Kampala is like a 3 or a 2.5, 2.5 to a 3. I stayed in a nice area called Kololo, so that was kind of developed, but even still, I saw like underdevelopment in the developed area.
Yeah.
So goes to show you how well developed or underdeveloped it is. No language barrier. I haven't had any issues with the English as compared to Tanzania. There was a barrier there, even though both countries' official language is English, but whatever. The transportation Ubers were solid, not too expensive. but I think bodas were better, like taking the little bodas, but that's always reckless. I'm not a fan of taking bodas, but that's how.
What's a Boda?
Yeah, like the little motorcycles, the bodas.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, or mopeds rather. They're not even motorcycles, like little dirt bikes, like mopeds.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
got you.
motorcycles like what we know as, but two wheelers. But yeah,
Yeah,
we
no, I
call
got you.
them
I got you.
motorcycles.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So what else? The food. So I love Cafe Javas. That's probably like my favorite place to eat in Africa, honestly. Um, love that place. So the food, I give that a plus. For me personally, I like it. I didn't have any issue with any of the food. I didn't think it was nasty. Everything was either um, in the middle or to good or to great. So no issues there. The women. So the women. Let's talk about that. The women. I know, I know they have that stereotype about how thick the women are in Uganda. I would say it's partially true and partially not because I saw some that weren't so. It wasn't like an overabundance of too much thickness, but the thickness was there. Are they the thickest in Africa? That remains to be seen. The facial structures, I think it's mixed. Some women will look I guess how bros would like the Latin women look, and then some will look maybe how like maybe a little Western African. They got a mix in Uganda. Like it's like a Western, Eastern combined mix like look, especially if they have a little Tanzanian in them, a little Kenyan in them. So it's like a little mixture over there.
Right.
My experience. But overall, I found them very submissive. They were very accommodating, and they were easy to get along with. They weren't too aggressive. Um, I think they would make pretty solid girlfriends or wife materials. Just like I would say Ghana too as well.
Okay, and last but not least, number 5 is Nigeria.
Okay, good old Nigeria. All right. Where do I start? Okay, Nigeria. The weather. I guess the season I was in, it was a little cool, so I guess I'll reserve on that. But typically hot and humid, similar to Ghana. Transportation, Uber works. They got InDrive that works. I'm trying to think. I think Bolt works there too. They got like 3 things. It's not expensive, but the issue is the Uber drivers are always going to hassle you and negotiate like crazy. Like, they're always, and as soon as they hear you speak as a foreigner, they're going to try to charge you like way overpriced. They're just going to do it. And not everybody, but some people. Yeah. Like Prime said, like one of the people said who was watching, he said Nigeria is the New York City of Africa, no debate. Lagos. I agree. Yeah, it's big. It's much to do there. Got art galleries, got restaurants, got clubbing. You got the beach, a lot of things to do. The food was solid. The women. I personally like the women. They're very diverse look. They got a lot of different tribes, so you get a variety of different looks. So I personally like it. I feel like you can kind of find a mixture of almost everything there. So that's the beauty about Nigeria. You can find any kind of look you want, from my experience. And the people were friendly. It's just that I guess due to the economy and stuff, they were, trying to earn their tips a lot. Very heavy on that, earning the tips. But overall, I enjoyed it. The infrastructure, the roads were better than expected. The electricity issues are there and apparent, so that's pretty bad. But and also your card doesn't work there, so you have to have a lot of cash on you. So I didn't really like that aspect because like our conventional cards like Visa or whatever they typically don't work at most places unless you're going to like maybe a Krispy Kreme donuts or a pharmacy. So that can be a bit of an inconvenience if you don't prepare well. I say get your currency ahead of time and have all your affairs in order when you go into Nigeria because
that's good to know.
Yeah, because I lucked out and stayed at a hotel that offered a currency exchange rate that was even better than, off the street or in the airport. So I lucked out with that. I didn't even know. I wish I would have stayed there initially. I switched places, but
Right.
you live and learn. Because next time I'll stay there or I'll just go there if I need to exchange currency.
Okay. And then what about the infrastructure? What was the rating from 1 to 5?
Yeah. So the infrastructure, like they have everything you need, but it doesn't always work. So that's the problem. So that's where the rating is. It's like it's there. It just needs cleaning, and I guess it needs to just work. So it looks a little dusty, and it just needs to work. So I would give it like it's ahead of Uganda, and I would give it a little bit below Ghana's, right? Ghana would get 3.5. I give it a 3, but an asterisk because if it worked, I would give it like below Kenya. I would give it like 3.5. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So just wanted to hear your breakdown on the 5 countries in Africa. Can't even talk. Let me give a couple of shout outs. That's what I meant to say. Shout out to my man, Garden Scientist. He says Kings and Dreams. Champagne, King Salute is in the building. Thumbs up. Definitely give this a thumbs up. Share the video. Likes are free. Salute to my man Ronin Travels. Definitely make sure that you check out his channel as well. Says salute to
shout out to
Dreams.
Ronin.
He says salute to Malik Foster Travels. Oh, you replied, okay. All right, so I think I'm gonna botch this again. Accra.
Accra.
There we go.
Yeah.
Accra is peaceful, nice place to start when going to Africa. Yeah, so I've heard, and you've been to Kenya and you've been to Ghana. So my question to you is this, right? So me, I haven't been to the continent of Africa yet, but if I'm starting to go to the continent of Africa, what place would you recommend me going out of the 5 countries that you've been to?
Out of the 5, do you want them in order, or do you want do you just want me to pick the best one?
Yeah, you could pick the best 1 or 2.
Okay, the best. I guess it depends on it depends on the person. But if you're just like new to Africa and you're like very hesitant and you want an easy transition, I would say Ghana or Kenya.
Okay.
And the reason why is because Ghana's infrastructure is a little better than Uganda's, even though they're English about the same, and your card works there. There's a lot of African Americans in Ghana, so you can feel a little more comfortable with English speakers or Americans that are there.
Right.
And everything seems to work there pretty well. It's very safe country, so you don't have to worry about too much criminal activity there. Kenya, the English speaking, a lot of fun, pretty good infrastructure, pretty solid, and a lot of things to do in Nairobi in particular. So you'll definitely have your hands full. So those are nice starting points for people who are looking to go to the continent of Africa. Those are like beginner level places, I would say. It's pretty easy because Tanzania is cool and easy and safe, but there's a language barrier. So I would put that second after those 2. And then I would go Uganda and then Nigeria. Nigeria is definitely it's for a seasoned traveler, to be honest. Or you got to know somebody who can like hold your hand out there.
I got you. That's good to know. And you mentioned no cards. So is that like debit and credit cards or both?
I would not use a debit card out there. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. A credit card, at least, in my experience, when people are trying to like do stuff with my credit card, it's like easier for me to protect myself as opposed to debit card takes way longer for you to get your money back and to prevent the issue or try to mitigate the issue, I should say. It takes longer to mitigate the issue as opposed to credit cards. So when I'm traveling, I guess goes into some of the tips and tricks. I tend to use a credit card, especially, the transaction fees. There's a lot of travel credit cards out there, no transaction fees. Your debit card, they're going to charge fees and stuff, possibly. Even if your bank is cool, the other side might charge fees. So you might get double fees. So you got to be mindful of that. So that's why I prefer using cash in replacement of my debit card over using my debit card, or I'll use my credit card. So credit card first, cash, and then I guess, debit card if all else fails.
Gotcha. Shout out to the Travel POV.
What's up, Travel POV? What's good, man?
Shout out to my man Charles Jones. He says, yo, to answer your question, yes, it is. I'm not sure what the question was. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah, alone is better. Kings is cooking, and he is absolutely 100. Okay, no doubt. Let's see. Your journey is your journey. Understood. Absolutely agreed. All right. Shout out to Chase Stacks. Says depend on the person's personality. Some people are more independent. Others feel safe when people are around. Yeah. You know what? I'll get to that in a little bit later. I kind of want to go to some comments that kind of focus on what we just talked about. Hey man, shout out to Bobby Coltrane. Says salute Kings and Dreams. Salute Ronin Travel. Salute. Santika says, don't forget about women from Cape Verde. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can't forget about that.
Yeah. So
sorry. We forgot about that.
There's a lot of there's a lot of Cape Verde women that live around where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that's number one on the list. Like
I would say you definitely go there. I haven't been there, but I wouldn't put it as beginner friendly though, because unless you know Portuguese or something like that, but I wouldn't put it as beginner friendly. But definitely
no.
I wouldn't put it to the level of Nigeria though, even though Nigeria knows English. That's to let you know something.
Right. Oh, so you say Nigerian women look better than Cape Verdean?
No, I'm not talking about the women's look. I'm talking about like in terms of like, if you've never been in a continent before, in terms of like, I guess
okay.
Transition.
Talking about like an experienced traveler. Like
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
the women. I don't know. Nigerian women are very diverse, and there's a lot of them. So,
okay,
you got to get into the per capita when you're talking about the women.
I got you.
Because there'll be a lot more, I guess, of them. So,
yeah, no, that's true.
Because I personally like when you're talking about women, if they have a diverse group of looks, that kind of gives them some plus points, because it's like they look different, as opposed to like, all the women kind of look like this, because everybody likes different things. So if you can have more variety, it's more chance of you finding something you like,
right?
Or something that likes you that you like back, So
yep. No, I completely get it. But I will say for the sake of conversation, Cape Verde though.
Nah, me and my friend talk about it all the time, so I understand completely. We got to get out there, man.
Absolutely.
If you're watching, I know Chase. If you're watching, man, we gotta get out there, buddy.
Yeah, let's see. I keep hearing good things about Kenya, Austin Holloman. Yeah, he'd be out there for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Kenya is good, man. Honestly, all the countries I mentioned, Santika is really good, man. They all have their own unique flavor to them and own uniqueness, and they all have their potential. It depends on what you're looking for. That way you can be properly guided. I haven't hit South Africa yet, So that's next on my conquering list, so I can be more well rounded in, the African countries, and plus, I love the African continent, so I want to check that out. Hopefully next year, sometime, maybe January. Check out South Africa.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then Prime says Nigeria is the New York City of Africa. No debate. Lagos. Oh, Lagos.
Yeah, Lagos. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Lagos.
Lagos is Lagos. Okay.
Yeah, it's Lagos. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So yeah, so you did 5 countries in the continent of Africa, and you said that you would recommend for someone for a traveler who may not be as seasoned to go to either Kenya or Ghana. All right. Now let's go into the nightlife. Which country had the best nightlife to you and why?
Okay. Mm, I'm gonna go with Kenya because I want to say it's the most affordable nightlife to kind of like if you want to flex or if you just want to party. Um, there's a bunch of different clubs, rooftop places, different locations to hang out, dance, socialize with women, and it's pretty safe and all of that stuff. So I give Kenya the win for that. That's my number one, but other places aren't too bad either. Like Tanzania is pretty good too. However, it's not Monday through Monday. Like Kenya is like nonstop. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of the nightlife and partying.
Really?
Tanzania is like Thursday through Sunday type of thing. Like
Okay.
yeah. Like it might be dry on a Tuesday. What's up? Vacation time with Ryan. Yeah, so it might be dry on a Tuesday. Nigeria, okay, Nigeria was cool when I went out. Unfortunately, I had got a little sick when I was out there, so I couldn't experience too much of the nightlife, but it was very expensive. Like when I'm saying, like if you want a bottle, like in Kenya, let's say it cost me like $80 for like a bottle, and for them to like do a little dance with some people, girls or whatever, the thing they do when you buy a bottle. In Nigeria,
the bottle girls when they come out. Yep.
The minimum was like $250 US, like, and the top was $700. And you got to imagine these people, like, that's like $700 like their rent for a year almost for some places. So, like, yeah, it was pretty expensive out there. If you want to party in a nice spot, so it's more expensive. It can possibly be more fun, but you're spending more money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I would say Nigeria could be more fun than Kenya in terms of the nightlife, but you're going to be spending a lot of money. So that's not too fun for me to be spending a lot of money for like just to show off and flex in front of people. That's not my idea of fun. But if you like to flex and you want all eyes on you, now I don't think any place can really top Nigeria if you're like an attention seeker like that and you want like all eyes on you and people to, kind of praise you in a way when you're like spending and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, like paying $250 for a
that was
bottle,
the minimum, by the way.
Dang, the minimum.
Yeah, because I was looking down and a friend of mine recommended this place. I'm like, why you recommend this expensive place? I had to go to like a little bar, kind of a little hangout, not too far. Yeah. I was on Victoria Island just to give people context, and the drink was kind of weak that I had because I always like to get a strawberry daiquiri, like pretty much every location I go, every country I go, I get one. And I was like, man, this was terrible. So I didn't really enjoy it, but I can see just by going out, I can see how it could be fun if you had a lot of money on you, like if you had like maybe extra $500, $1,000 to spend. Because if you only had $200, it's like having almost 280,000 of their money. So it's a lot, that lasts me a long time,
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is like that's like new U.S. prices, man. So it's, I mean, that's real. That's like U.S. prices. So it's just like, and you said that was the minimum. So I mean, you think about it, right? Like you buy a bottle, and it costs $250, and then probably on top of that, you got to pay gratuity, right? So you got to pay some sort of tax or some sort of tip.
The security's gonna want a tip, you know.
Yeah. So right. So with the tip, you're probably talking about like $300 all in, and
Well, you
that's
don't have to tip them much. Like if I give them like, here, take this, like, you know, like 10K, which is like maybe like $10 or $5, you know, they'd be cool with that. But
Malik, I come from a club promotion, owning night.
yeah, they're probably gonna expect more though.
Yeah, like, bro, you can't buy a bottle for $250 and be like, yo, shorty, here's $10. She gonna be like, what the fuck?
Oh no, not to the ladies. Yeah, exactly.
No, the bottle girl. I'm talking about the bottle girl.
Okay, oh yeah.
Yeah, what you talking about?
That's why I said you got to go in there with like $500 to $1,000 ready to blow, because
right. But what I'm saying is that, like, at least for me, if I wanted to do something like that, I might as well just stay in the States. Now, when you say going to Kenya, spending like, you know, $75, $80 or whatever, $85, to me, okay, you know, I don't mind doing that once in a while. I'm not gonna do that every weekend, but like once in a while, that's cool. But there's no way I'm dropping $250 to $300 on a bottle. Like, nah, man.
Yeah, man. They have a flexing culture out there, so you know that's what they like to do. So if you're that type of person that likes that would fit you. Like if you have the money to spend and you want people to look at you, you want that attention so much, you know, Nigeria is a perfect place for that. Like you get what I'm saying? If you have that money, you're gonna enjoy the nightlife like really a lot. You're gonna have it your way out there, you know. So that's why I said like Kenya, but I'll put an asterisk. Like if you have like a lot of disposable income, you probably might enjoy that more, because people are going to be looking at you. You know, you're going to get loved by the bouncers. People are going to go out their way because they think you got money. You're going to tip them. So, you know, you're going to have a totally different experience. Like you're going to have like a mini celebrity experience. Like I felt like they thought I had a bunch of money and I was feeling like almost a D-lister. Like, you know, I was with somebody, they wasn't dressed right. They was like, well, because it's you, man, they good. Like, because I like, so they really work it, man, out there.
Yeah. This was in Nigeria or this was in Kenya?
That was in Nigeria. Kenya is not.
Okay.
That. Yeah, in terms of the flexing as much, but yeah, Nigeria for sure. Like, you know, and plus they don't get as much tourists as Kenya does. Like, if somebody's out there, it's usually because of working for like maybe a big corporation or like they own a business out there. It's not like just legitimate tourism.
I guess for me, I'm surprised that they would charge so much when the infrastructure in Kenya and Ghana is better than the infrastructure in Nigeria.
Sometimes that deals with that's a good point. Sometimes that deals with like imports. Like for example, like televisions in our country is very cheap, like in the United States. But if you go overseas, it's like ridiculous. Like you're like, dang. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it kind of deals with like, you know, the manufacturing, the deals, the distribution deals, stuff like that, the tariffs, stuff like that plays a role. So if you don't have a good distribution and a good networking, which Kenya has, so they're kind of balanced in pricing with everything. Like stuff's not too much. Obviously, things aren't too cheap. Things aren't too much because they have good distribution and good networks out there in Kenya.
Right. It's reasonable.
So that's why Kenya is not bad in anything, but it's not like the best in anything. So that's why Kenya is really high on people's lists. Like, do they have the best looking women? Probably not. They don't have the worst. Do they have the best economy? Probably not, but they don't have the worst. They're good in everything. Like, it's just a standard. Like, I guess if you're trying to judge a woman, like what's a woman that's like slightly above average? That's like Kenya. Like it's not too bad, but just good enough. Like, so you meet your standard.
Yeah, no,
That's how
I get what you're saying. Like essentially what you're saying when it comes to like the economy, the price, you get a decent bang for your buck, so to speak, right? So like yeah, because that's why like I'm so confused because going to Nigeria and you spending like $300 on a bottle, like I'm like damn, like yo, y'all think I'm Davido? What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, the person recommended a high-end place, but it was very nice though. Like I'm comparing it to a place in Kenya of similar, like the way
Yeah,
it
no,
looked,
I
right?
definitely get you. I
Yeah, I'm
definitely get
comparing
you.
it to that. So it's like
Yeah,
the comparable Kenya place doesn't cost me as much. So like
yeah.
like when I went to a nice nightclub there, it was like the expensive bottle was like half of that. Like it was like instead of 250, I'm paying $100. Like that's way better for me, or $90.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. I think I mean listen, right? You know what I mean? Like outside of outside of women dating and all of that, but most guys like travel become expats due to the fact that it's a high cost of living in the United States, right? Like the inflation, everything is going up. You know what I mean? Everything is going up, right? So like if you're a homeowner, you know what I mean. Taxes are going up. I mean, if you rent is going up. So it's like, why am I hustling backwards, right? You know what I mean? Why am I gonna go spend $300 on a bottle when I could have just went down the street? It already cost me like what 2,000, 2,500 just to get this flight or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Then
Mhm.
now you ask me to drop another 300? Hell no.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was like, why you recommend this place, man? This fancy old place. I don't need to be in here. Like,
Right. Yeah.
because a lot of people don't understand, especially the locals, you're traveling, like you're kind of on
Yeah.
a budget. Like they just think, okay, you can afford to travel, you can afford whatever since you got here, right? Because they look at the cost of getting here and they're like, well, that's crazy. I can never afford that. So this guy's rich. So that's the way they kind of look at it.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I think that's universal. And I know that there's a couple of questions when it comes to Africa, but and we'll finish up there because I want to get to the next continent. But I'll say this really quickly. So when you just mentioned when they find out how much you travel to get to this place, to these places, they're like, wow, like I will never in my life be able to afford that. So they're like, oh, well, this person may be rich, not knowing that, okay, yes, I have the money to get there. I got paid the ticket to get there and get back, but I need to be conservative to a certain extent of how
Mhm.
much money to spend while I'm in this country. All right. Because what people don't realize is that typically the bulk of like when you're traveling, going on vacation, really the bulk of it is the actual travel, right? Because you got to pay for your flight, you got to pay for, especially like if you're traveling for weeks or months at a time, you got to pay for your
Mhm.
suitcase, right? And especially like if you're someone who doesn't like being like squished in the fucking middle seat, and you know what I mean, if you're a taller person, like I'm 6'2", so I can't sit in them little seats. Like I gotta sit like in an exit row, or I gotta sit in I gotta sit in business class, so you gotta pay
Yeah.
extra for that. So all of that starts to add up. And then it's like, all right, now that I'm here, I'm working with a certain amount that I don't want to go over.
Right.
So yeah, but like the thing is that due to them, they don't have the mindset of once I'm able to actually buy the plane ticket, how I'm going to, how am I going to be able to spend that money? And they're looking at it as I don't think that way because I will never be able to afford that plane ticket anyhow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. That's one way that's one thing that they're looking at it like exactly like you said. I just think you know a lot of countries see a lot of things on American television. I know it's kind of getting off, the
No, it's
country
not.
talk, but it seems like, but yeah, they see a lot of things on American television throughout my travels, and they just think we're all rich, and I guess they're still stuck in I guess the golden age or the internet boom when a lot of people had a lot of money. Like they're still thinking like that. Like most Americans have money, especially if they're traveling. But little do they know is there's a lot of different tips and tricks that help Americans out, like credit cards,
Mhm.
taking loans, sometimes your job, depending on what kind of job you have, working remote, rewards, points, stuff like that, different perks for like signing up for
Right.
different programs. Like we got all this things to kind of catch people in order to spend money that incentivize us to do business where they give us certain travel perks that
Right.
is not available in Africa. In Africa, it's like you got to pay. It is what it is. Maybe they'll give you like maybe some free drinks or whatever after you done, build up a loyalty. They don't really offer much, like the airlines and like things in the travel industry, like the hotel tourism stuff, like hotels and the airlines. They don't really offer too much.
No, I definitely understand what you mean. Like when you're talking about like travel incentives, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Travel incentives. They don't offer too many incentives, like for
yeah.
like their people there to actually travel throughout Africa, like how they offer us, like, hey, here's a bag if you get this credit card, or here's a free bag.
Right. Yep.
You
No,
got to pay for
I
that
get
bag.
it. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it because like when I talk to like local people, like when I travel, right? And I explain all of this to them, right? Because like when they say like, oh, American, you rich, and it's like, okay, because I remember one of my guys and he's like, yeah, I can't wait to get to the United States. And I'm like, okay, dude, you may want to come to the United States, but I'm telling you, like you may make way more than what you're making now, but you're gonna spend way more. And I was saying that most people in the United States are living below the poverty line, but as you mentioned, like with the perks, they're able to finance things, right? You know what I mean? So people
Mhm.
are paying things off, right? So like if you think about it, right, like, and I have to look this up, but I wonder what the percentages of people in the United States that are completely debt free. I would say it's probably less than 10%, honestly. I would say it's probably less than 10%.
I,
That's
it might debt free completely. Yeah, it's definitely not that much. I would say it's definitely. I think we can lean towards less than half. I think
way
to
less than
be
half.
to
Yeah,
be conservative for sure. Yeah, I don't know the exact
right,
numbers either.
right. And what I mean is shout out to my man Theo Wap, man. This is my guy.
Hey,
Definitely
what's up,
salute
Theo?
to my dude Theo. Definitely excuse me. The Manosphere Conclave, that will be September 6th. That's going to be in Miami, Florida. Definitely make sure that you check out Theo. My man Andre Love Crossing Borders is going to be there. I think Richie Magzuna Thailand is going to be there. Um, Obsidian is going to be there, and a couple of other special guests. Also, Theo is actually teaching a class, and guys, you definitely want to get tapped in with this class, right? And Malik, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but he's teaching this class where he's teaching black men to make at least $125,000 annually, and they can live anywhere in the world. So
Oh,
you could
nice.
be making six figures living anywhere in the world, working remotely. And I believe that this class, he won't be teaching this. He'll be teaching this class, and it'll be for 2 years. And then after that, I don't know what he's gonna do. But
Okay. Shout out to
yeah,
Theo.
I'm sorry.
No, I said shout out to Theo for that. Shout out to him.
Oh yeah, man.
We appreciate
Absolutely,
that.
man. Absolutely. Yes. So guys, if you are interested in tech and you want to be able to become an expat and you want to earn six figures living anywhere in the world, definitely hit up my man Theo. You want to go to the Manosphere, blackmanosphere.com, and you have to register for the conclave. So I know that we have a couple of expats here, that don't live in the United States, so you can actually watch it virtually. And then once you sign up for that, then you'll be able to sign up for the class. But you have to go to the conclave in order to register for the class. If I can earn six figures, what kind of Colombiana can I date? Almost all of them, sir. I said almost all of them.
Yeah, speaking of questions, I wanted to ask if I could answer. Somebody asked me a question.
Yeah. This question right here, right?
Yeah. That's my guy there, Travel POV. So you're looking to do excursions in Africa. Which ones do I recommend in terms of adventure? In Africa, you have to go to see the animals, man. You got to do a safari. That's kind of recommended. And in Kenya, Kenya is one of the only places in the world that has a national park inside the capital. So their national park, their safari is in the capital. So you definitely want to check that out. So anything dealing with nature. So I don't know if you were here. I mentioned like a lot of activities in Tanzania. You can go to Serengeti. That's another safari park. And then you can go to Zanzibar, the island, where water activities. If you're a fan of water stuff, you could go to the island, see the tortoises. I did that. You can go, obviously, doing water activities, snorkeling, whatever. Also, what else is there? Oh, you could do some of the rainforest stuff in West Africa if you want to go on those canopy walks. I did some of those as well. And obviously, you can do a little ATV riding and stuff like that as well throughout the little jungles. That's pretty cool too. So that's just a few adventurous stuff. But you might be so busy just trying to get around the city, you'd be like, hey, kind of tired doing all that adventure stuff. And it's kind of costly too. That adventure stuff is expensive. That's something to keep in mind. You already done spent $2,000 to get there. You don't want to spend another $1,000 or whatever on a bunch of activities. Hey, what's up, Vaughn? How you doing, bro? Yeah. I just wanted to give you a quick summary, Travel POV. There's more stuff like cultural stuff, but you said adventure, so it's going to deal with animals and nature. Like you can do gorilla trekking in Uganda. You can do the gorilla stuff. They got that there. They got a little safari there too, but Kenya and Tanzania is way better. So
nice. All right, shout out to Vaughn Michael, Mathman Todd. Says just came back from Cabo San Luca, Mexico. Hey,
oh, nice, man. I was in Mexico in January.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so my question to you, my last question, before we leave off the continent of Africa, and I want to go to some other countries that you've traveled to. If you still have some time, if not, we could do a part 2, brother. It's up to you, but.
Okay.
I want to ask this question first, though. Now,
a nice 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so we gotta do a part 2.
Yeah, it's like 11:30.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the title. I'm gonna have to change the title to best 5 places in Africa. But it's all good. So my question to you is this now. So now. For the 5 countries that you mentioned Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda. Which place would you recommend for someone to live that is cost affordable? And you can list them in order.
Oh, okay. Cost affordable. List them in order. I would probably put the most. Okay, I'll go from most affordable to least affordable. That's the order I'll go into.
Sure.
So most affordable to me, I will go with. I'm gonna judge it by day-to-day expenses. I know a little bit about the housing costs because I've been kind of interested in terms of investments and stuff like that. So I'll try to speak a little bit about that, but I don't know about that too much with some countries that I'm not interested in. Like, for example, Uganda, for example. I don't know too much about like trying to purchasing a place, but I would say Kenya is probably the cheapest. That's number one overall.
Okay.
Like I'm just gonna do overall, like every area activity that we participate in daily. Kenya is probably number one.
Yep.
And number two, mm, number two is gonna probably be um it might be either Uganda. Man, so this one's tough because when I'm thinking about number two, I want to say Nigeria is cheap, but then again, like if you want to go partying and stuff like that, that's not so cheap. But if you're just talking about transportation and food and you need a spot to stay, cheap. You get what I'm saying? But if you're
Yeah.
as a tourist, because you're asking me as a place to live, so I will put Nigeria probably two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will
Because
put
like when
Nigeria.
you're sorry. Yeah, but like when you're living there, right? Like you're not really gonna be partying like every single day.
Right.
So I'm thinking about like your typical day to day, right? Like stuff you need for the house, you know what I mean? Food to cook for yourself. As you mentioned, like getting around to different places,
Like
right?
food, shelter, transportation.
Yeah, right. Transportation, if you're a single guy, you may, obviously you're gonna be dating and stuff like that. So you don't want to, you don't want to be dropping those $300 a night. You know what I mean? You may
Right.
do that on somebody's birthday or something like that, but I'm talking about something that's reasonable. So okay, so you said Kenya's number one, Nigeria's number two. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say Kenya, Tanzania.
Okay.
Tanzania is probably three, or it could be two. Because I feel like after Kenya, it's kind of like a very small differences in different areas. Because Kenya is actually noticeable, but when I try to figure out too, because I know Ghana is more probably a big gap too. So Ghana is kind of expensive in terms of things. Because I'm just thinking about okay, I got a haircut in Nigeria versus getting a haircut in Ghana. It was more money in Ghana than Nigeria. Like it cost me like $7 in Ghana as opposed to it cost me like $4. It cost me like $2. It cost me like $2 in Nigeria to get a haircut. And then it cost me $7 to get it in Ghana, for example. Um
Man, Ghana's expensive.
yeah. Yeah, Ghana's probably the most expensive one.
Out of the
But it's not
five.
too far off from like other stuff. Uganda is a little bit more expensive than Kenya. So that one I would put probably in the middle. I would put that one after Tanzania. So it'd be Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda, then Ghana. I would go that way. But it's not like a big difference between two through five. Well, no, three through five. Sorry. Nigeria is kind of noticeable. It's really cheap, man. If you're just trying to, you know,
Right.
live.
Okay. Understood. All right. Okay, so Vaughn Michael asks, how many times have you traveled to Africa? Remembered you was going since the DSU days. Really want to go.
Okay, so Vaughn Michael Todd, I guess for the audience, as he brought it up, we went to university together. He's a very old colleague, friend of mine. So how many times have I been, Vaughn? Shoot, I've been a few times. I've been at least four times. I've been four times. Yep, and you should go, Vaughn. I recommend Ghana or Kenya as the first one. Probably Kenya because it's a little cheaper to get to. Ghana's expensive to get to, man. That's that flight's going to be over $1,000. Maybe you could get one for like 900-800 in JFK or something.
Really?
You asked me another question. Here.
Uh,
What airlines did you take down there? Yeah, I did Delta one time, and I did Air France one time, and I did Virgin Atlantic, which is like You can think of it as a cousin of deltas, basically.
Okay.
I haven't been to South Africa yet, but Dr. Issa, yeah, I know he was big on Ghana. Dr. Issa is a professor we mutually had, is African American history professor,
Okay.
Delaware State University. Uh, yeah, Kenya and Ghana is cool. South Africa, I'm going to try to do that 2026. That's on my to do list. So that's kind of in the works.
Okay, cool. All right. So one of the last questions I wanted to ask you. So, what would you say are the potential? What would you say are the potential pitfalls of traveling solo, and what would you say are the benefits of traveling solo?
Okay. Pitfalls of traveling solo. Everything's all on you. But whether your itinerary, your safety, um, locating everything, your packing, everything's all on you, right? So that's one of the pitfalls of traveling solo. You got to be disciplined and you got to be responsible. Also, some of the I guess benefits that I can think of traveling solo is this. So you can make your own schedule. You don't have to wait for others. You also have to think about your itinerary. You can kind of be flexible with that. You can kind of move how you want to move. You don't have to be waiting for others. Also, another thing about solo though that is a pitfall, I guess, is safety. So you're by yourself, no one to watch your back. I think I might have said it already, but I'll hash it again because you got to be really aware of your safety. Because if you're drinking, having fun, get caught up, there's no one to watch your back. So it's important to utilize the resources around you when you're solo, like at your hotel. Make sure you're friendly with them. Make sure they're cool. Maybe tip them if you have a little extra money. Make sure your Airbnb has security as well. Always watch your surroundings. Talk to the locals. Make friends with the locals because you don't have anybody from your country watching your back. So it's important to try to gain some friends, acquaintances, or even incentivize at some point people to look out for you. I'm a proponent of that. Like, hey, here's a little tip. Look out for my back. That always works. That's worked in my experience. Also, the major benefit of traveling alone is it's a peace of mind. It's like a therapy to me personally. You can relax. You can see the world in a different light. You don't have the stress of um, worrying about others because when you're in a group, in the back of your mind subconsciously, you're worrying about others, especially if you're a caring human being. You're going to be worrying about them, like, are they good? Especially if they're doing some maybe suspicious stuff or maybe some red flag activity or in a compromising positioning or something like that. And you're like, man, I don't know what he's doing. He's just not moving right, or she's not moving right. If you travel with women, so those are some of the things that I would say are some of the pitfalls and the benefits to traveling solo. Oh, I guess the one benefit of traveling with a group, I guess, or a pitfall, I guess you could say, traveling solo is the expenses. I don't know if I mentioned that part. The expenses is all on you and it's not shared, so it's more money out of your pocket essentially. So you don't have that opportunity to split costs, which is a very big thing that I probably should have mentioned first. But that's one of the most important things it costs, right? If you don't have the money to travel, you ain't going anywhere. So I'll end it with that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I thought, um, I thought that you gave great examples, great feedback, right? Because, as you mentioned, like when you're traveling alone, it's all on you, and you definitely have to be careful your surroundings. Like you're the only person who can watch your back. But also, like when you're traveling with the group, you have to. You mentioned this earlier. Like you have to wait for people, right? Like if you're trying to do an activity and you have an activity, let's say you have an activity schedule for I don't know, let's say 12 o'clock, and you have to be at the meeting place around like 11 o'clock, 11:30, and Fred ended up drinking way too much, so Fred is super hungover, and it's like 11:15, and Fred ain't getting out. Fred ain't getting out that bed. So I definitely understand that part. You know what I mean? But
Right,
also,
right.
like if you travel with the right frame, the people that are in the right frame, like how you all are in unison, you all understand, okay, we got to be at this place at this time, and everybody's on point. That's cool. And this is one of the reasons why, like, I'm kind of in the middle, if you will, because like I travel alone, but like I'll meet people while I'm there, right? So, for an example, if I say, "Yo, Malik, I'm going to Kenya such and such day," you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be there." You know what I mean? I'm like, "All right, well, let's link up. Cool, no problem." Right? But it's not like we really planned this trip together per se. Like
Right.
it's only a core group of people that I can plan a trip together with, and we will be on the same page. And even if we all kind of veer off and do like our own little thing for a few hours, but later on, like we link up and we're pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking like you were talking about like actually traveling with the group from step, one to the end of the trip.
Oh,
Meeting friends there, like I will put that in a separate category. But yeah, that's another way to protect yourself, I guess, or to
yeah.
like not feel so isolated because if you're gonna stay in a country in a long time, I think it can definitely get to you if you don't have like a few buddies or some people to talk to. Yeah, shout out to POV. Appreciate that. Yeah, and I hope I answered your question, man.
No, you definitely did. I mean, because I hear mixed reviews. A lot of guys will say, "Yeah, man, I prefer to travel solo." A lot of reasons that you mentioned, a lot of reasons why that I mentioned, right? You know what I mean? People not being punctual, people want to do different things. Everyone's not on the same page, right? And then I've heard some people say it's cool to travel with groups, but it just depends on the type of group that you're traveling with, right? So
Yeah.
like I fly out by myself, I fly back by myself, but while I'm there, I'm linking up with different people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
I get you.
yeah,
There's one thing I did forget to mention about traveling as a group.
sure.
I guess one of the best benefits I guess no one talks about is it kind of motivates you to go. Like if that group doesn't go, you probably might not go. It's like it lessens the chance
Yeah,
of you actually going out there and actually taking the trip
yeah,
because taking a trip is a big step. It's like a mini investment.
yeah,
Like you got to go to another country, you got to buy a plane ticket, you got to get a hotel or Airbnb or a place to stay. You got to rework your whole schedule, and your whole normal routine has to shift, and not everybody is cool with that adaptability and that flexibility. Like even if they do get time off, people are still not, you know, comfortable with that shift. So, but if you got a couple friends or buddies saying, "Hey, we're doing this," and you're the odd man out, you'll be like, you might summon up the courage, like, "Okay, everybody else is doing this, my friends doing this, I want to do this." They're giving me that push that I need. So, I think that's a positive of the group travel.
yeah. You know what? That is actually an interesting perspective, right? Because like you you you're motivated to pull your own weight because it's like, all right, if everybody else is going and you're like, oh man, like I can't go, and it's like, man, you kind of look like, I mean, depending on like what your situation is, right? Some people have real situations and like, hey, listen, you kind of down bad, we get it, but like if you really don't have like a really valid excuse, you do look like a sucker. Like everybody's going, and it's like, all right, bro, like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like no, for real, because it's like, yo, like we planned this for like 8, 9 months. Like you telling me you ain't had time to get your money up? Like, come on, bro. So I definitely understand that aspect of it.
Right.
All right. So Vaughn had a couple of questions. We're gonna do some quick hitters because I know that it's almost midnight here. All right. So he says, always watch your surroundings. Keep your money and valuables secure. Absolutely, I agree with that. Okay, traveling alone can be extremely cautious. It's all on you. Right about that on your own time. Yeah, we spoke about that. Let's see. Says
I
good
appreciate
feedback.
that.
Um, Also, being around different personalities in group. Yeah, that's true. Got to manage those different personalities. Groups can cause a lot of lagging. We want mature and sensible groups of people. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, like if you, well, the one thing I refuse to travel with a passport, Pookie. Absolutely no Pookies.
What if the person's name's Pookie? You don't want to travel.
If that person name is Pookie, I'm looking at the mom and dad like, what was y'all up to? What the hell was y'all up to?
I know somebody named Pookie. That's why I said it.
Giving you unsensible people that you know that is not in the States, or wait, not in the States and a different country. You know at times on groups there can be some bad apples. Okay.
Okay, yeah. It can always be some bad apples, yeah, for sure.
Right. Yep. Oh no, yeah, okay. You see different culture and save up for months and years in these trips, financially, budget, and work. Absolutely, yeah. So essentially, he's saying like, agreeing with what we both had said. Like,
Right.
yeah, it'll motivate you. I know he did ask a question.
Yeah. Did I?
What's the occurrence?
Oh, yeah, that was the question. I think, okay. Ghana, their currency is the CD. It's $1 for 10 of theirs. Kenya is the shilling. That's 1 to like 125, around there. And Uganda, so East Africa, they all use shillings basically, but they got their own version of it. They really need to come up with one currency, but whatever. That's neither here or there. Uganda has their Uganda shillings, and then Tanzania has their Tanzanian shillings. Nigeria has the naira. So those are the currencies.
Okay. All right, perfect, man. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to change this title because we definitely did a deep dive into the
because I know you want to cover some of the Latin American countries and
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll probably have. You know what? Well, since I'm going to Latin America, it would make sense to save that for when I get back, right?
Oh yeah. So what? When are you coming back? September, you said, or?
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm coming back later in August. You know what I mean?
Okay, I might be on
yeah,
my.
I'll give you the exact dates on on WhatsApp or what have you. But
Okay.
But yeah. So I'm leaving early next week. So I'm very, very excited, man.
Yeah, take some, document for us, man. So some of us struggling bros out here can live.
I have a lot of content. Trust me, man. Yes, definitely would love to chat about them too. Yes, we definitely got that for you, Von Michael.
Yeah. I need to link up with you in one of these countries, man. I know you're fluent in Spanish, brother. So
yeah, man. I got you. Let's see. WhatsApp is essential to download. Oh yeah. If you don't have WhatsApp, you are not a traveler. Like if you don't have like that's almost, you know what? That's like travel 101. Like seriously, travel 101. Like seriously, like if someone is traveling and does not have WhatsApp, like that's they should make a book, and I think they probably do have a book like Traveling for Dummies, but like WhatsApp should be like the first thing that's
it should be the cover, the little sign.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the green sign with the phone saying you need this. Yeah. If you don't have WhatsApp, you cannot.
You're at a loss because they're gonna be trying to call you. The hotel's gonna ask what's your WhatsApp. Everybody's gonna ask for it.
WhatsApp? I don't have WhatsApp. Right? The person at the front desk gonna be like, What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
man,
might
good
deport you
time.
for that. You might get deported.
Right.
They're like, no, we don't want no trouble out of you. Just go back to your country. That's
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
man, my man Malik. Hey, listen, man. Thank you so much. Great insight on the 5 countries in the continent of Africa. And again, yes, I'm definitely gonna have to change this thumbnail and the title.
Hey, you never know. We just go off to something else.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man. But I appreciate you all watching. I will actually be live tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I think I'm probably going to go live every day this week, just due to the fact that I'm going to be gone for a little over 2 weeks. So I want to be able to have content for you guys. And, so yeah, I'll probably just finish the week just doing live every day. But
Okay, I'll be tuning in.
I appreciate you all for watching this Kings and Dreams. Subscribe to my man Malik Foster Travels. Subscribe to my channel Kings and Dreams, as you can see, all platforms. Definitely appreciate you all. Peace and love. Stay purposely purposeful, and we are out.
All right, man. Be blessed, everybody. Peace.